Evening people, hope everyone's good. So, hope everyone's enjoying the lovely weather. Now, by now, most people would have thought in these corners of YouTube, would have heard all the just utter bullshit, misinformation, lies, deception, etc. from people like Jupiter, people like Wendy. Now, I think it's only right that I make it clear from my own perspective of why I joined Shield. Now, obviously, Jupiter has warned me. I can't remember at what point in the conversation or whatever, but she knew it hadn't gone very well for her, regardless, and it was made clear that if I was to put what unfolded on Jupiter's channel with myself, Wendy and Jupiter, I would receive a strike. Now, I couldn't really give a fuck, to be honest. I think people have seen it anyway. Ghost has put out 2 videos from it or whatever. Now, his channel will get more like than mine regardless, so the people that kind of need to see these things unfold, I've seen these things unfold anyway. So, and Ghost is not asked about that channel anyway, it's just a throwaway channel to accompany his other channel for occasions like this, really. Now, until the second one come out that Ghost put out, I'd not heard what was said after I left, if you know what I mean. I was banned for life again for at least the 3rd time in a row or whatever. And obviously when I left, I had shit to do or whatever. I'd already chatted shit for long enough, wasted breath on 2 frog boiling piss drinking cunts, realistically. Now, obviously, they've got an axe to grind, the pair of them. It's not really done them much good, me being around or whatever. Now, all the shit aside or whatever, I'd obviously told people that what's going on realistically in the movements as a whole or whatever, or the movement as a whole, is not really doing anything. Do you know what I mean? I've been around this fucking movement in all aspects of it, supporting pretty much any group of worth or whatever, whether that be Parents Against Grooming, or PAG UK as some people know it as, Veterans Against Terrorism, DFLA, Football Lads Alliance, the wicked fucking EDL, Britain First, Maria's, Sikhs Awareness Society, you name it, realistically. Even when it's been small things or whatever, I had a hand in putting Manchester Collective together quite some years ago or whatever. So it's one of them. Also, the groups which I would say are not on the right, things like Pendragons, now formerly known as CMW, the purest form of what Pendragons was supposed to be about, minus any fucking wonky cunts or whatever. That's CMW. Now, that's just Lawful Solutions. So yeah, I've been part of many things over the years or whatever. Still support all of them, to be honest. But am I actually going to invest my time into any of it or whatever anymore, realistically. I don't see there's any point. I think the message has got out there across the board. People are now wide awake to the problems, but seem to be in a predicament where they're just awake to the problems. Now, I have said from day one, if you're going to wake people up, they're going to wake up, and they're going to wake up angry. They're going to realise that there's been a rape epidemic up and down the country, the terrorism, etc., the murder of children. People that obviously and rightfully are going to wake up angry. Now, if you've not got a lawful solution to be able to either prevent further things happening or bring lawful solution and resolve to these problems, then it's not gonna end well, realistically. You're gonna get people doing a madness. You're gonna get groups that are underground, and people are gonna end up doing madness shit or whatever. Now, I've said for as far as I can remember back or whatever, these things need to be dealt with in the right manner. It's all good and well waking people up, but you've got, you know what I mean, you've got to start, or some of you have to start being able to prevent these things going on. Things are only getting worse and worse daily. When you've got the women of the country, no matter what colour they are, feeling like they're not safe in this country, their kids are not safe to play out in the park and all this kind of thing without all kinds of fucked up shit going on, even just from simple harassment. It's all over the internet, it's all over everywhere. People you physically know yourself or whatever will be aware of these things. For anybody that actually spends time offline or whatever, you will definitely be aware of people in your personal circles, etc., which have encountered problems. Now, when you know full well that the police are so disinterested, it is unreal. And even when they've actually got somebody nailed down with charges or whatever, these cases just like dissolve and go away. There's an obvious problem, and at this moment in time there is no respect for the police. The people of this country can see the problems evolving, and the police and the government going out their way to accommodate more and more and more of the same shit, knowing full well the repercussions of their actions, allowing this shit to go on or whatever, and allowing more in, knowing full well the past history of the people that have already arrived or whatever. When you've got people here that have been here like days, a couple of weeks, and they're already contacting children, trying to meet children for sex and all this shit, then for me it's one of them. The discussion needs to be had, what's driving these people or whatever to do what they're doing. Now, these things are going on in the background or whatever. These things are going on YouTube. Empress, Becca and Taffy are due to have a discussion or whatever. Trillo and Ghost are apparently due to have a discussion. It seems to be keep getting pushed back, not for the want of Trillo not wanting to have it. It seems to be more Ghost that's hesitant about it or whatever. Now, when you see all these things around and unfolding here, there and everywhere, and there's still no sight, not a fucking glimmer of lawful solutions or people being able to come up with preventive measures to deal with these problems. You know, you've got the auditors and whatever. Some of them are, well, all of them are doing a mint job or whatever, going around the hotels, showing people what's going on, even inside or whatever the hotels. There's been a few people now that have managed to get in there and show you what's going on from inside. If people remember Sam Kibble, he was showing you all the signs of don't touch other people's kids and all that without the permission. It's like, when you have to write signs like that and put them in a public hotel or whatever, I think there's an issue. I think there's a really big issue or whatever. Now, I've obviously joined all these groups and supported everybody, whether it be menial things like printing up a load of posters and putting them up the night before, whether it be helping out with security, etc. Whether it be just actually turning up with like-minded people and whatever to support whatever's going on and lend a hand if need be, wherever that may be or whatever. Now, I've done that for countless years or whatever, and realistically we're no further now other than people being awake. I mean, I'm not going to take that away from anybody that's done anything or whatever. Even if it's just people sat on YouTube or whatever, not actually getting off their arse and doing anything, just sort of highlighting certain things more now because it's a bit more fucking fashionable, isn't it? When it was EDL and you're getting fucking piss bombs threw at you and fruit with razor blades threw at you, and the police just wanting to beat the shit out of you or whatever, heavy-handed tactics, police dogs being set on you and all that kind of shit or whatever. There was a lot less people then wanting to support whatever, but this far forward now, do you know what I mean? There's so many people awake, but everyone seems to have no solutions whatsoever. Nobody seems to be able to build that unity across even across the groups, never mind across the country. Do you know what I mean? If we can't have unity, then we're going to lose. It is that simple. The only thing that they fear, being the government, is united numbers with a common set of fucking things that they all agree on, and they want change to be brought or whatever. Now, it suits them for you to be all whacked off in different pockets or whatever, fucking 20,000 here, 20,000 there, fucking whatever, and it's in their interest to play you all off each other, and they do that quite well. They do that with all kinds of measures, including infiltration. Now, I've witnessed from the inside how infiltration works. We've seen it all with the Danny Jones crew and whatever. Where they'll weasel the way into groups, give you all the bullshit. Oh, you know, we support everything you're about, blah fucking blah. Let us help you. Let us build you a fucking site. Let us do this. Let us do that. Let us send you a computer. Give us your address. Give us your address. Yeah? Now, when they thought they was infiltrating us, I'd already been asked a couple of weeks before, after Danny Jones contacted Gary Clark of CMW, filling him with shit, spoon feeding him the nonsense. So Gary asked me can you go and check this guy out, do a bit of research on him or whatever, and I did that. I went back a good few years and whatever, came back to Gary and said, nothing but a lefty. Everyone around him's a lefty. They're calling people like the Dragons at the time or whatever. That's how far I went back. and dragon dullards, blah blah blah, sell your birth certificate to fucking just all this madness or whatever, trying to make out that it was all freedom of the land bullshit or whatever. And if you've ever heard me say freedom of the land, you've heard me say bullshit right afterwards. Now, it's one of them. CMW have done a citizen's arrest on Sadiq Khan, Keir Starmer, and I can't remember the others, to be honest. Politics is not really my thing. Now, some of the charges included treason. Now, at the time, we was literally, I wouldn't say begging, but do you know what I mean? Trying to get people to just push it, you know, fucking get it highlighted, get it across the groups. Everyone fucking send a template letter which was put out or whatever in to show that actually there's public interest into bringing these people to account. Now, the response, to be honest, was quite disappointing. The people that could have actually made a big difference or whatever, people with big followings and whatever, people like Tommy and others, just didn't really fucking do much with it. I'll be honest, the only people that did at the time or whatever, and they kind of used it a little bit and tried rebranding it as their own kind of thing, which was a little bit cheeky. But for me, as long as somebody gets the message out and shows people there is actually resolve, I'm not really too arsed, to be honest. Not really about ego or whatever. As long as someone does the job, I'm happy with that, mate. Now, when people with big followings can't even do that for you, it's like, what are we doing here? You know, I would just keep waking people up for what? We need resolve, we need solution. Like I've said, other than that, you're just going to get people doing some mad shit or whatever. Now, there has been groups bubbling under the surface and whatever. A lot of the members from that ended up with prison sentences, etc. So we really do have to think about the way we deal with these things or whatever. And you've got to realise that there's always going to be consequences if you act outside of the law. Anything, any group, anything at all that is ever put together, the first thing they will do is send in the infiltrators, and they'll sit and they'll note things down and they'll clip little things and whatever, and they'll try and poo-poo all over it or whatever. They'll do that in a host of ways, much like Jupiter and Wendy at the moment or whatever. Now, when they have to lie, make things up and deceive you from what was actually said and who said this and how much certain things are and all this kind of stuff or whatever, that should really tell you all you need to know. If the truth wasn't good enough from the people that are pointing these things out, if they have to lie, if they have to deceive you, do you know what I mean? You've got to be able to question why that might be. Now, I've exposed many things along the way, the King's flag being probably the most prominent or whatever, where they was trying to get people to buy shares in some bullshit fucking tidal energy scheme or whatever, selling shares as if it was a business when it was no more than an idea. And running alongside that, they wanted the veterans to storm Parliament on the say-so of King John Wanoa. Now, King John Wanoa is just a prolific fucking scammer. He has been for 20 years. He's got history going into loads of different countries and whatever, where he's just done the same shit or whatever. If you can tap into a group of desperate people that have got no solutions and you offer them a solution, it's always going to attract the masses or whatever, and people will quite happily hand over handfuls of cash. Now, there's been many things pop up along the way, and I've took an interest in all, asked the right questions, see what answers you get back and whatever, and you can decide for yourself or whatever if something's viable or if something's just some bullshit. Now, Shield, as soon as it come about and whatever, I asked all the relevant questions, I've met the relevant people, and had the answers that you would hope for. Realistically, they've been nothing but transparent from day one. Now, the bone of contention seems to have come from Wendy and Jupiter, that it's not like a cast off or an extension of Team Tommy. Now, they have made it clear from day one that they don't want to do that, for good reason. Think about it logically. Anything that's been anything to do with Tommy or anything like that or whatever, people will automatically jump to the thing of, oh, it's far right, it's fucking this, that, the other, they're all fucking Nazis, blah, fucking blah. Now, they've made it clear from day one that they don't want any of that. They don't want it ruined before it starts or whatever. Some things are more important than trying to tie yourself to something which only ever scrapes in so many numbers or whatever. When you consolidate all the groups there around, it's still not a lot of people, considering the amount of people in the country. It's not sufficient to do anything realistically. Do you know what I mean? What's the most amount of people you've seen together for, like, what was it called, Day of Freedom or something like that? I think it's about 100,000 people. 100,000 people is not enough. It's not enough to make a government think twice or look to fucking dealing with these things or whatever. It's a drop in the ocean. That's the way they see it. They'll cater to the majority, not the minority. The minorities that they're bringing in now, they know will be the majority in no time at all. So that's who they're catering to. That much is crystal clear. Now, when you're aware of all this, and when you've even had chats with people like Tommy's head security, Glenn Zaffer, and even he agrees that on-street movements realistically now are kind of irrelevant, dead in the water, not much point to them. Do you know what I mean? You kind of have to take it for what it is. Now, does that mean that I'm against people doing demos and this, that and the other? No, keep waking people up. It's essential, I would say, to be honest. The more people you wake up, the better. But there has to be a crowd of people that have been around it long enough to start going in the direction of, right, how do we get to grips with this? How do we deal with it? How do we prevent what is going on getting worse and worse and worse? Our children don't feel safe. We're no longer able to let them go and play in the park. You're no longer able to let your missus go in. Do you know what I mean? Like, you should be able to let your missus go and take your dog for a walk round. Do you know what I mean? Secluded areas or whatever. The public, do you know what I mean? But realistically, would you let your missus go fucking wandering about? I mean, I'm not going to say where the location is, but literally a mile and a half from where I am now, there's a hotel and it's filled with illegals, and they're already committing crimes straight away. All sorts of shit. And they go wandering up and down here in these fucking quiet, secluded areas and whatever. And I've seen them with the tongues hanging out, looking at fucking women and whatever. These people are not used to seeing women that are uncovered. They're not. They're used to seeing people in full get-up fucking burqas and all this kind of shit and whatever. Head coverings, you name it. They're just not used to seeing people out and about with less than that on or whatever. So they're literally slavering on the women. They're slavering on the young girls. They're harassing them. Do you know what I mean? It's just one of them. You're only waiting for one to get a little bit brave and do something, which there's no taking that back. Once some shit has gone on, there's no reversing it. There's no rewinding time. So you've kind of got to prevent these things from happening. Now, my missus can handle herself. I can't really fucking emphasise that enough. My missus would, 100% hands down, beat the shit out of the average guy or whatever. If you've not been trained to fight and whatever, I know full well she would smack the shit out of him. It wouldn't go well or whatever. Now, for me to be still in fear of my missus going for a wander about on her own or whatever, even taking the dog out on her own or whatever, there's an issue. Do you know what I mean? Now, if your missus or your daughter or your granddaughter or whatever can't fight, has not been trained to fight and whatever, you're going to be in a worse predicament than myself. You shouldn't have to worry about your missus taking the dog for a walk on her own or something, or your kids going to play in the park. But because of the actions of the government that have allowed all these unchecked illegals coming in and whatever, it's now not safe. That's just fact. People can not like it. People can say what they want. Now, it helps my case or whatever that Becca, who is a Muslim herself, a convert to Islam, agrees with me that we shouldn't be allowing any more people here. We're full to capacity, and there's too many underlying problems at the moment or whatever which are not being dealt with. So at that point, sorry, but we have to close the borders. We can't have any more people here coming here unchecked until we get on top of the present situation, at least. When you've got your own people that are homeless and struggling, and lists of hospitals and schools and housing and dentists and you name it, we're short of it. There's big long queues for any of it or whatever, and it's been shown, it's been proven, we are being pushed to the back of all these queues. They'd much rather deal with and facilitate giving all these things to people that have literally just arrived illegally with sketchy fucking stories of having no paperwork, this, that and the other. These people are, again, has been proved, these people are working illegally, being given jobs delivering food and whatever. So all these jobs that they're doing, they're coming to your house, they're coming to, you could be at work, you go, just order a pizza or whatever, kids or whatever. You don't know who's going to bring that fucking pizza these days. How many cases now have we heard of people having the doors pushed open and people forcing themselves in, and people having some fucked up shit done to them or whatever. It's just going to get worse and worse and worse. Now, for me, Shield has been the only group in the whole time or whatever which have seen the problems acknowledge the problems and realise that somebody has to step up in a preventive measure or whatever. Now, everybody is useful. You could be a postman, you could be a plumber, you could be a delivery driver, you know, you could just be a single mum, you could be fucking anything. Everybody's sets of eyes see different things, and you all can collect data, information, intel, and when you pool all that together and whatever, you come up with a much bigger picture, a much clearer picture of what's actually going on, where it's going on, what seems to be given a pass, etc. And you can start to put some sort of a picture together where you go, right, okay, these are the hotspot areas, these are what's causing X, Y and Z. You know, if we had some unity and we had lots of volunteers willing to tell us what's going on in their area and whatever, what's going on in their circles and whatnot, we can slowly but surely start to deal with this fucking whole situation or whatever. Now, it's no good realistically if you've not got the manpower to deal with these things, if you've not got the men with the fucking bollocks to deal with it. It is that simple. So Shield has been formed. The main backbone of it is the 1% bikers. The 1% bikers are not to be played with, they're not to be toyed with, they're not to be fucking mocked and ridiculed. They deal with problems in the right manner, realistically, for the present climate and situation and the severity of the problems. They deal with these problems head on. No sugarcoating, fuck all. They deal with it. Now, them doing that would be absolutely useless without volunteers that are willing to step up, support what goes on, report what goes on, and be the eyes and ears for the group, for the greater good. Now, that is how you build unity. It doesn't need egos, it doesn't need fucking forever asking for money for everything and whatever. There just needs to be a few things put in place. Now, for people joining, it's £25 to join and whatever. You then go on a database and whatever, you let people know on the database where you're going to be operating from, kind of thing. You know, your information, it could be nowhere near you live, it could be where you work or whatever, near where you work, and you've noticed some shit and whatever. All that information is key. That information is the gold dust. Now, there is no competition, realistically. Yeah, there is a few other groups doing something similar, and good luck to them. Good luck to them all or whatever. At some point in time, maybe all these groups will connect together like a jigsaw. Alongside with, you know, other things that would be useful, like the auditors or the paedophile hunters. Just look at that in itself. How much controversy there was around paedophile hunters or whatever at the time. Now, fast forward to where we are today, there's more people that actually support paedophile hunters than anything else, realistically. The police or whatever, they don't get no respect. The police get no respect or whatever, whereas the paedophile hunters do. Now, when you look at it for what it was at the time, the controversy, the naysayers, oh, these are fucking vigilantes, blah fucking blah. People like Wendy are still saying it to this day. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to look at it in the right light or whatever. What's Wendy about? Paedophile hunters, over 100 paedophile hunter teams up and down the UK have shown their worth. it's made fucking crystal clear that they're actually taking more paedophiles off the streets daily than the police are doing over a month. You could look at it and think, well, what are the police actually doing? Because the paedophile hunters are put together by just people like yourself, myself and whatever, and they're catching 2 and 3 a day. Some teams that I'm aware of or whatever, some people that I know in that team and whatever, I've caught up to 4 a day sometimes. So why can't the police do that? Obviously they could, but they choose not to. Now, for people saying, oh, vigilante, blah blah blah, we've already shown that that's not the case. We've shown that with the paedophile hunters. Hughes was wrong, everyone that was for it was right. It is that simple. People like Wendy, you know, she's very questionable in my opinion. All this time forward, you think she would have changed her mind or whatever, but no, apparently not, still against it. Now, these are very questionable people. Now, like I say, the Shield and whatever, they've been transparent from day one. They've shown you, you know, we're not here to fuck about. We're not here to make it into a cast off of anything. We're doing our own thing, and the aim of the game is to make our streets safer. You know, safer for your children, safer for your missus, your sister, your fucking niece, whatever. Now, anyone that's against that, realistically, you have to kind of question what they're about. Who else is going to step up, realistically, to prevent these things getting worse and worse and worse? Is Tommy going to do anything? Doesn't seem that way, does it? He's just on a mission of waking people up. And again, good on him. Good on him, keep doing it. The following is not getting any bigger, is it, realistically? If that changes, then that's good or whatever, but up to now, I would say it's shrunk and shrunk and shrunk. A lot of good, decent people have left for multiple reasons along the years or whatever. People just, it's one of them, you get exhausted with doing the same shit over and over and over again, putting all the effort in, getting up early hours, going putting the posters out. People like myself, you know, a fucking vehicle with a screen in it and fucking loudspeakers on it and whatever, driving around the local areas trying to drum up support for it and whatever. And it's one of them. It's very limited as to what it achieves. A lot of people are too scared to step into that that movement or whatever you want to call it. People are scared to have the labels put on them and whatever. Nobody wants to lose a job. Nobody wants to have their family and the kids targeted and whatever. Look at the shit that has gone on, realistically. Now, when I've seen it all for myself, and I've had people who claim, and it is just a claim, to be on your side or whatever, people are making out that the not Team Tommy, but like supporters of or whatever, it just doesn't sit right, realistically, when... Hello. He's alright. Ah, cool, mate. Now, when you've seen all these things, people which are blatant infiltrators, and then pulling other infiltrators in to do their dirty work, that's people like Wendy, people like Jupiter, and you stand back and you watch what they've done from the moment they arrived to where they are now, it's not very hard to spot, realistically. What good have these people done? Have they tried to build unity, or have they tried to create division across the board? Just causing dramas everywhere they go, playing everybody off each other, stabbing each other in the back. It just goes on and on and on. It's an endless cycle. So I knew full well, or whatever, I predicted what would happen, that these people would attack anything decent put forward or whatever. Now, they're always going to do what they're going to do. Nothing's going to change that. I dare say if Danny Roscoe or somebody would have thought of the idea and discovered, these people are doing that or whatever, the Shield or whatever, this sounds good, we should all get behind this, we should all unite under that banner and still do our own thing or whatever. Yeah, she'd have jumped all over it. She'd be singing its praises and doing loads of lives about it and promoting it and pushing it. But because it was me, obviously, she doesn't want to do that, does she? Do you know what I mean? We'll just attack it. We'll make things up. We'll say whatever we want. Most people are too lazy to go and check for themselves. Are they actually telling the truth? Is it right what they're saying? Do they want £55 a month every month and whatever? All the wild bullshit that they've come out with. Now, the fact of the matter is, anybody that joins and wants to be a member and support it, yeah, you pay £25. Big wow. If you want to go a step further and you want to be the people that are willing to deal with the vulnerable women and vulnerable children, then you have to go through the checks. You can't not do. If you don't, you're gonna have wonky cunts trying to join to get near the women and kids. They could be any colour of the fucking rainbow. They have to go through the checks, obviously. Otherwise, you're gonna have wonky cunts. You could have fucking Jupiter's son that ended up in prison for beating his own fucking kids up and beating his own missus up and smashing the house up or whatever. We all know what went on. Our own mate Wendy's fucking told us all, and Jupiter's admitted it along the way anyway, partially here and there. You do all the fucking dot joining and it's pretty obvious what actually went on. Now, realistically, would you rather people not have to pay? Just put a half-assed group together and have wonky cunts like that near your women and your children? I wouldn't. Not at all. So obviously these measures have to be put in place. They have to. If you don't do that, you're just going to end up in a worse situation than before. So yeah, people are paying, I should have checked really before. I think it's £50 or £55 to have all the checks done and whatnot. And then, you are appointed then to be the person to deal with the vulnerable women and children. And you do so in the right manner, which has been pre-planned. All the safeguarding around it and whatever, you do it the right way. It is that simple. Now, the recent thing of Wendy and Jupiter literally taking the piss and mocking a survivor, a victim of grooming gang, a survivor of it all, in what seems to be a very bad situation. She's been rescued, she's been, put in a safe position and whatever. For grown-ass women like Wendy and Jupiter to be mocking that and literally taking the piss out of it, what is the difference, realistically, between when Mandy Mosley and Danny Jones and all them scummy bastards was doing it of the victims that Tommy was representing? What's the difference between them doing it and Wendy and Jupiter doing it, realistically? There is no difference. It's exactly the same. Now, for me, Mandy Mosley and all that, yeah, proper scumbag, making people into paedophiles that are not paedophiles and all this shit and whatever. But then you could cast that back to Wendy, and then she lied about it and said, no, I didn't say that. And then when I play the evidence, they just laugh. They don't care how much you show them up with their own words. They don't give a fuck. Same with Jupiter. How many people has Jupiter made out to be a fucking paedophile? Everyone that got blamed for the Discord or whatever, at least 20 people, probably more like 30 people, they was all made to be a fucking paedophile or whatever. Oh, they did this, they did that. They dropped fucking, well, she says child porn, which is creepy in itself, but CSA was dropped in the Discord 1. Do you know what I mean? She didn't like the idea of people thinking possibly that she might be a paedophile based off she had CSA dropped in her Discord. That could have happened to anyone. Wouldn't have made her a paedophile. I've said this to her on a one-to-one. How would that make you a paedophile? You know, that could have happened to anyone. But Jupiter didn't like it, and she just wanted to throw shit at anybody and everybody rather than her look like a pedo. So yeah, we'll just point at 20-30 people, call them all paedophiles, and hope that people don't think Jupiter's a paedophile. Where's the logic to that, realistically? Bear in mind, half of the people that she's accused at that point in time and whatever, I've ended up sat back with her, which to me is mind-numbing. It's like, what are we doing? What are we actually doing? Now, when you've seen all these things happen and whatever, you've kind of got to hit reality at some point and think, well, what are we actually doing here? You know, all these things are going on. You've got these infiltrators, which are clearly infiltrators in the mix. They're causing all these fucking problems and just dividing people. Now, when you've done all the legwork, you've put all the fucking work in, you've spent an absolute fortune doing what you've done for fucking years. It's not only lost money, it's lost time with your family, it's lost fucking... Do you know what I mean? That time is something you could either spend with your family, spend working, earning money. You know, time is your most valuable resource, realistically. And when you're just giving it away and you're getting nothing back in return, nothing productive happening, no unity being built, whatever, at some point you've got to draw a line under it and think, well, we did what we did, we've got it to where we've got it, we're at an advantage point to some degree. There's more people awake now than there's ever been. But that's not enough, is it, realistically? You've got to be able to get all that together, figure out the bigger picture and think, right, how do we actually bring some resolve to this? You can go and do a citizen's arrest on people like Khan and Kay, which at the time weren't really that important, but they are now. Look at it now. These things could have been nipped in the bud a long time ago if it would have had the support from people like Team Tommy and whatever, which have got, you know, decent following, whatever. All the people around, all the people with shitty little channels and whatever could have pushed that out and brought attention to it, and then, yeah, it would have had public interest. Now, when you do that and you've got the public interest factor, these things can then be sort of brought to attention, and they kind of have to be dealt with one way or the other. The laws that was used and whatever was existing laws. As the copper said or whatever on the day, all these things are going to need to be checked into and whatever. The thing that let it down was the CPS said there was a lack of public interest for it. Now, if the general public would have knew then what we know now, would it be the same, or would there be a lot more public interest? It's hard to know, to be honest, because there's so much division and divide, people being played off and whatever. It's hard to know. Now, Shield, if they're willing to put their fucking put themselves on the line and be the backbone of whatever and coordinate all these people and get everyone trained up. I know it's stupid I didn't tell you that bit or whatever. Like, women, like I was saying earlier, you know, your missus, your sister, your niece or whatever, she might not be able to fight her way out of a paper bag. She's certainly not going to be able to fend off a man, or it could be 2 men, it could be 3 men, it could be 5 men. It'd be a lot better if she had some fucking training. Now, the Shield have been working with people that are put in place to do the training, to give the training to fucking, you know, to women across the board. It's better to be able to defend yourself or whatever, especially as a woman. There might not always be someone around. You might not have chance to fucking contact the Shield or whatever, and you know, you could be, until these things grow and get a chunk of people in your area where you are or whatever, then the response time might not be great, realistically. If you've got 500 people in your area, yeah, okay, it's probably going to be, you're probably going to see them quicker than you'll see the police anyway. Now, when you've got a team of heavy fucking guys or whatever that are willing to be that backup, that are willing to be the backbone of things, and you've got multiple people that have joined in your area, they could be men, they could be women, they could be young, they could be old. Support is support. If your missus is there on her own and needs support now, and she knows full well the police are fucking useless, then would you rather her have some support, or would you rather her just have to fend for herself? Would you rather that she's had some self-defence training and can actually, you know, defend herself somewhat to a degree? I'd hope so. Like I say, my missus is fucking well trained or whatever. She will quite happily beat the shit out of most average men or whatever. I know that as fact. But I still don't feel safe with her out and about on her own and whatever. You can't do. You know, there's no good reason to. You would be a fool to think that it's a safe situation. It's not. Doesn't matter really where you live. It's up and down the fucking country. When you know that these hotels and whatever are being used for all kinds of nefarious shit, even having kids being worked as a fucking sex worker in the rooms of these hotels and whatever, yeah, there's big problems. We need to deal with it. Considering these hotels are dotted up and down the fucking country, then we need to be able to deal with it. We need eyes, we need ears everywhere, and we need to consolidate all that information together and be very strategic as to how we deal with these things or whatever, how to use the people best to get the best results, and the end result being a safer environment for your women and children. It is that simple. Now, for me personally, like I say, I've supported it all. All we've managed to do over all them years is manage to wake people up. Okay, that's the first fucking productive thing or whatever. You've now got people that are actually aware of the danger. If you're aware of the danger, you can kind of try and prevent bad things happening by putting certain measures in place. I know a lot of women that are carrying certain things around or whatever in case they have to defend themselves. There's a lot of things on the market for women to use or whatever to defend themselves if the situation arises or whatever. And at that point, do you know what I mean? It's a good thing that you've woke people up to the dangers, but we can't just leave it as that. You know, it's only going to get worse. They're only going to get more emboldened. every case it slides and disappears and fucking dissolves, they get emboldened into, yeah, we can do this, we can just do what we want when we want, and these police, these people, the dads, the uncles, whatever, they're doing nothing. They're all too scared of being called a name or whatever, being given a fucking label. Hello. Gorgeous, yeah. Got a friend. Fucking dogs just flocked to me or something, I don't know. Now, it's one of them. We have to be able to fucking come up with things, because there's nothing put in place. We have to be able to figure these things out for ourselves. And the more eyes, the more ears, the more information from random people like yourselves and whatever, the better. You know, you consolidate all that together. If you could be then supported by things like the audit teams and whatever, which do also great work highlighting certain hotels for this or that or whatever. All this information is gold. Now, the only time that you're going to deter people from doing things, they're not scared of the police, they're not scared of prison, everything's too soft. Most cases don't really get anywhere. If they do get anywhere, they get a slap on the wrist sentence, they go to prison, they're given everything fucking, do you know what I mean? They can sit there on their ass playing fucking computer games and all sorts of shit. In my opinion, they'd be out breaking fucking rocks. You know what I mean? And that would include me. If I go to prison for something or whatever, I don't want to sit on my ass being fucking, you know what I mean? There needs to be a deterrent. You shouldn't fucking not enjoy prison. I don't think anyone enjoys it, but if it doesn't deter you from doing what you was doing, then it's not a deterrent, is it, realistically? Now, there is things we can do. There is things that we could put in place. A lot of the cases that have gone on in the past and whatever include things like prevention of births. One book, if you're going to read a book, read Easy Meat. See how you feel after that. That's all I'll say on the matter. I'm not going to go into the fucking demonic acts that have gone on or whatever, but the end result is prevention of births, so that should kind of spell it out for you without me having to do so. Some of the most vile shit that you can imagine being done to children, and the end result is prevention of births. Now, that's a genocidal crime. We have laws to deal with that. They're very harsh. They're not these slap on the wrist fucking sentences, but they're not getting dished out. They're not being dealt with like that. They're being, you know, a little slap on the wrist. Oh, don't do it again. Oh, okay, you don't understand. It's different where you come from. Oh, you can marry a 9-year-old where you come from. Okay, well, it's different here, so we'll just give you a little slap on the wrist. And don't do it again, will you? Because, you know, it's quite heartbreaking for the families around it and whatever. It doesn't work, does it? It just doesn't fucking work. Now, as newcomers to this country and whatever, and other predators, do you know what I mean? There's predators of all walks of life, predators that were fucking born here, you name it, there's predators everywhere. As a predator, when you're walking about, you know, like I say, down here or whatever, that could be your missus jogging down the river or whatever. Who's to say what'll happen to her or whatever? We don't know. You've got no idea of the bad things that can come of it or whatever. Some people have got their head in the clouds and don't pay attention to what's going on daily all over the country. If you, as a fucking predator, while you're out and about, you're seeing people with, oh, why have they all got the same t-shirt on, or a hat or a hoodie top or whatever, what's this shield thing about or whatever. And as things develop and the backbone of it all goes to confront certain things and make people knock it on the head, cease and desist in this action, otherwise you will be dealt with in a fucking in a whole different manner. We will not be ringing the police, and you will be praying for the police, but that's not going to happen. These people generally associate with other fucking wonky cunts and whatever, and one by one they'll all inform each other, okay, the things we was getting away with up to now, it seems to be changed somewhat, and all of a sudden you've now got all these people that are popping up. They've all seem to have the same logo, and they're here, they're there, they're everywhere. There's people driving about and they've got these signs on the back of the cars, and you know, it seems to be growing thick and fast to the point where you see more of them than you do the police. They're now going to think twice. They're now going to contemplate that actually there may well be repercussions for the actions of what they're doing. And when you've got harsh repercussions from whatever situations that have unfolded and whatever, you will think differently, you will operate differently. You might actually have a little bit of fucking respect for the people that you're a host, you know, to their country or whatever, a visitor. Now, like any group, anything put together, there's always going to be mistakes made. There's always going to be things where you've bit off a little more than you can chew and whatnot. Maybe things have not gone as well as you'd liked. Now, I'm not saying that's the case with Shield. I don't think there's been any mistakes. I think everything's been meticulously planned. Lots of safeguarding things put in place and whatnot. It's attracted the right people rather than the wrong people. It seems to have offended the wrong people, which is good. Anybody highlighting and shitting all over things and having to make up pure bullshit to try and put people off, well, they're highlighting themselves to all you decent people, what they're about. Now, I have predicted the Shield to be the fastest growing group that is around, and it has been around for all this time or whatever. Now, like I say, you know, if you want to still be out doing demos and I don't know, signing petitions and all these other things, whatever, carry on doing that or whatever. That don't mean you can't be part of Shield. Your intel is just as valuable as my intel. I mean, it's one of them, innit? Everybody sees different things that go on in where they live or whatever, or where they're out and about. They notice things and whatever. These things are all relevant. Everybody is as important as everybody stood to the left or the right of you. There is no egos, there is no, it's not some fucking, do you know what I mean? It's not some ego driven thing that just does nothing or whatever. These are the boots on the ground. These are the people that are actually going to make a difference in all of your areas. All you have to do is support it. If you can support it and you're able-bodied and whatnot, you know, just walking your dog, you might see things and whatever and think, this is not right, I've seen this a few times or whatever. That information is gold to people that know what to do with it or whatever. Now, if they hadn't been transparent with things from day one and been transparent every step of the way, I may question things, but I actually look into the things and go and speak to the relevant people and get the answers for myself. I don't sit there nitpicking on the internet or whatever. These people don't leave the fucking house. Do you know what I mean? They're so unclued up about anything in actual real life. All they do is sit online, they don't do nothing. They don't do nothing. Not being funny, but do you know what I mean? When you're literally a disaster to your own family and can't even stand up for your own grandchildren, what good are they to anyone around the situation? Now, one thing I did, One thing I did do when I'm supporting all these causes and groups and whatnot, it might be something simple like I've got a t-shirt on or whatever, thought-provoking t-shirt, could be Free Tommy or whatever. I've noticed that when Tommy's actually not locked up or whatever, people ask a lot more questions and whatever, and it just gets the conversation started, and the more people you speak to, the more people are awake to certain things. Some people will be receptive of what it is that you're saying, what it is that you support, and so on, and then that in itself creates more awareness. Now, when you've got myself and many others that are now supporting Shield, and now people that you can actually call upon in your hour of need, that can only be a good thing. That would never be a bad thing. That would never be a negative. For all the people that chat shit about me or whatever, if it comes to their daughter or their granddaughter or niece or something like that needing assistance or whatever, they'd be fucking grateful of somebody like me turning up. I don't take no shit. I don't take no prisoners. I don't fuck about. Now, if somebody vulnerable around you is in that predicament, what do you want them to do? Do you want them to ring the police, or do you actually want them to get some fucking assistance, and fast? Now, like I say, it's attracting many people, just as many women as men. Women will always play a vital role in anything like this. A long time ago, I did say it would be nice for women to come forward, strong women, and have an opinion, speak out openly, honestly about things. Now, when I said that, I didn't for a moment in fucking time envisage people like Wendy, people like Jupiter, people like Moon. I'm not going to chuck Babs in that section of dog shit or whatever. Yeah, Babs is a loose cannon. Babs hasn't done some bad shit along the way and whatever, but her heart's in the right place. She does support these things and whatever. Now, when you've got Wendy and Jupiter trying to poison her mind against anything that will, create a safer space for your women and children, that's not a good thing, is it, realistically? Somebody like Babs is obviously quite vulnerable herself. It could be her, it could be her niece, it could be her granddaughter. Everyone's got somebody around him that is potentially a victim. Might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, but at some point in time they could potentially be a victim. Now, the more things we've got around to prevent that, and at worst case scenario have to deal with that because these things are just getting worse and more frequent, then, do you know what I mean? It's in everybody's interest, realistically, to be able to have somebody that you can contact that will actually turn up. Now, the amount of people that are hungry for it is overwhelming, to the point where the wheels can't move fast enough to get everybody connected, to get everybody in the regional groups, to get everyone clued up with each other. Do you know what I mean? These things are important. These things take time. That group is now just literally scratched in at 5 weeks old, and up to now everything that they've done the right way. They've done it exactly how you'd want it to be. The measures are put in place to make sure that it continues to be able to be a community service to the people. it has to be done right. People have to do whatever. People have to get checked out. Depending on the roles, that is, not everyone's going to need to get DBS checked and all that or whatever. It depends on your role that you apply for. All the way up to Vanguard, which is your heavy fucking dudes or whatever, which, okay, these people have been warned. They've persisted into carrying on doing what they've been doing, even though they've been warned or whatever. Now we send in the heavy mob. Now they get dealt with. Now, when is that a bad thing, realistically? Police ain't going to do that. The courts are just going to give them a slap on the wrist. These people need to be dealt with, and they need to be dealt with harshly. Now, somebody like Becca that was being dragged along for the ride by Jupiter, just filling her with shit, spoon-feeding her nonsense, lies and deception. Somebody like Becca would be a godsend to groups like this. You know what I mean? She's already jumped through the hoops, she's already been DBS checked, she's worked with kids in the past. There's an abundance of women that are signed up to Shield and are doing that right now. There's a shit ton of fucking men that are literally hungry for it. I've already got the merchandise, the shop, the t-shirts, the caps, this, that and the other, and they're already making a visible presence on the streets. As this grows and continues and expands and whatever, everybody will be aware what Shield are. The questions will stop. They will just feel safer that they can see these people out and about. It'll make them feel safer somewhat. Now, that's exactly what we need, and the more of that, the more people will join. For every person that has an issue and it gets dealt with by people of Shield, the family members around that are going to go, well, that could have gone really bad or whatever. I'm glad people have intercepted and nothing bad happened or whatever. Off the back of that, you're going to have at least 3-4 family members around that will go, yeah, fuck this, I'm going to join that. I'm going to fucking do my bit. I'm going to do my part, whatever. And these things will just grow and grow and grow. Now, you can look to America. They've been doing this for fucking years or whatever. You might have people that say, oh, it's a cast-off from that. I couldn't give a fuck if it is. It works. It works there. It'll work here. It is that simple. Just like the paedophile hunters, it will work. It will be done right. And we will be making the environment a safer environment. It is that simple. Now, if I had more time, more free time, more this, more that, more the other, more money to just throw at things for fuel, hotels, fucking travelling time, this, that and the other, yeah, I might be able to do this, that and the other. I might be able to fucking run round supporting all these other groups or whatever, but why bother? There's always going to be a trail of people behind you that have just woke up recently. I mean, Danny Roscoe is I don't know how long he's been around. It's not long. And look at him now. Do you know what I mean? He's waking people up. I don't know what he's doing, to be honest. I think he might be heading the political route, and at that point, I see that part as part of the problem rather than part of the solution. If it was to be used as a pressure group rather than a political group, okay, yeah, I can see the point to it more there or whatever. But these things are being spoke about now from the mainstream parties, so for every party that pops up, you're just diluting the people again, aren't you? A pocket here, a pocket there, no one's fucking whatever. Look at all the people that are doing they're literally at war with each other at the moment. Oh, if you're not supporting UKIP, you're this, that and the other. Okay. If you're not supporting this other party, you're a shit cunt, blah, blah, blah. You're just causing division, divide. The more parties that pop up, the more diluted it gets, to the point where Your glass of Vimto with 100,000 people in it is now fucking shared over 20 different glasses, and it's just fucking water with a hint of fucking Vimto in it. It's pointless. It would have been better to keep it all consolidated and at least have, 100,000 in one particular group, movement, party, whatever. Now, a lot of people seem to be trying to cash in on it, or grift as the term that's chucked around or whatever. A lot of people seem to be trying to grift. People have seen it themselves along the way, they're aware. Now, it's all good and well asking people for money. I mean, Anne-Marie Waters, what was it, £30 to join her party? What did she do? What did she actually achieve? What did she deliver? She said a lot, but what did she actually deliver on? Nothing. She walked away with all your money after Tommy Robinson and others sent their following, yeah, everyone needs to get behind Anne-Marie Waters. Why? What did it do? She fucked off with all that money. She did fuck all she promised. It doesn't work, does it? It's not like these people have even got a plan. So let's say, yeah, we could all get behind that person, or whoever. What's the plan, realistically? Because if you haven't got a plan, which none of them have, well, what's the point? You're just literally fleecing people for money. For what reason? You're not actually even pretending to have a plan. Everyone vote, just keep voting and hope you can vote yourself out of some madness. There's an agenda at play. These things are well documented. There's a fucking agenda at play, and realistically you have to be able to realise these things. If it's not part of the solution, it is part of the problem. For every fucking party that pops up, it's just more division, more fucking separation of groups, this, that and the other. You're literally your own worst enemy at that point in time. Now, I know full well that there will be some alliances built down the road or whatever. Like anything, they have to make them their mark. They have to show people what they are about, what they are definitely not about, and show people that they're not able to be labelled as, I said right the other day, but I'll say what everyone else says or whatever. Whenever you stick up for anything or point anything out or whatever, you're automatically deemed far right. Now, far right, for my mind, is people like Mark Clett, the PA lot and whatever. Now, to me, they're the people that you don't want nothing to do with. The people that want it all white. Anyone that's not white needs to fucking leave the country. All this fucking bullshit. And they're grifting everybody, all their followers. They're ripping them all off, and they know full well they're going to deliver on nothing. This country is built up of near 200 types of people from all different races, ethnicities, whatever. And I've said from day one, until you include all the people that live here, you're never going to achieve nothing. You're always going to be stigmatised with one label or another, and if they haven't got a label for you, they will fucking make one up. So when you've seen Shield aware of all these things and dealing with things in the right manner, so Mr. and Mrs. fucking Jones are not labelled far right or racist or anything of the sort, and they can do what they need to do, and the children can be proud that actually, yeah, mum and dad are actually fucking doing this, doing that, part of this and whatever. And over the let's say a year down the line, yeah, things seems to have like de-escalated somewhat. There seems to be a lot less attacks. There seems to be a lot less harassment of women on the streets, etc. Like anything, it takes time to prove itself. Now, when you've got people like Wendy and Jupiter attacking it, the moment it's fucking coming to the forefront or whatever, and trying to get the decent people behind it and whatever, you've got to address it for what it is. These people are not right. These people just want more drama, more bullshit. All they thrive on is views and subs. They don't matter where they're scraping from. They don't matter, you know, how many morals they have to lose, how many people that they know that they, you know, will end up having to stab them in the back, etc. It doesn't help that the people around that have been stabbed in the back go back. To me, that's like battered wife syndrome. Once you get battered the first time off your fella or something, it's his fault, isn't it? All day it's his fault. The moment you go back, whose fault is it now? And that's where you've got to look at these things. If people have done the most fucked up shit to people and continue to do that, and the person that is doing the most fucked up shit just seems to be able to get away with it, then they're going to continue doing that. It is that simple. Now, I've been waiting on something like Shield evolving or whatever. There's been lots of talk in the backgrounds of things, chucking ideas around and whatnot. Now, it's evolved and it's here to protect all the women, all the children, to make this country a safer place. Now, much like with the paedophile hunters, the police have got two options. They can either work with them or work against them. Now, if they work against them, then all they will do is turn the people against them. If they work with them like they do now, the paedophile hunters. If you remember, they was trying to arrest the paedophile hunters, not the pedos, when it first started. But now they're quite happy to work with it. They know the scenario when they turn up. They know that they're going to have a log of evidence, the perpetrator, etc. The case is basically made for them. All they have to do is go and book them in. Hopefully get them remanded. Hopefully get them a fucking sentence or whatever. Get these people off the streets. Shield will be no different. The only difference I would say is where the paedophile hunters just leave it in the hands of the police and the court system, the judicial system, whatever. They won't just be doing that. If there's persistent problems, reoffending problems where they've been warned and whatever, then it goes to a different level. We'll have people that are no longer just civilians and whatever, people that are willing to go a little bit further, if you like, to there's another one. You see so many up here, it's unreal. Should have videoed that, to be fair. But yeah, you get them all through here, all the delivery cunts and whatever, all coming in and out these hotels. There's literally a hotel just down the river from here or whatever. I'm not going to highlight it, don't need to. These things are being watched. The information is being gathered, and like anything, all these things take time or whatever. Now, the longer you do something, the better you get at it. The more people you get involved, the stronger it becomes. And that is the end result. We end up with a safer scenario for everybody. I mean, it's not just to protect women and children. You know, these guys that can't fucking handle themselves or whatever. Not being funny, but when you've got men being raped, there's a fucking problem. There's a proper problem. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, we have to get on top of it. We have to deal with it. If we have to be a bit harsh, then we have to be a bit harsh. It is what it is. people have got to stop being so fucking politically correct and just hoping that somebody else is going to come and save the day. It's not going to work. You all have to be involved. It takes every single person to be involved to make the situation safer, better. It's one of them, you just think now, if you're out and about on your own, or your missus, you might be a woman or whatever who's listening now, if you're out and about on your own and you're getting stalked off some fucking weirdo that won't leave you alone, and he's trying to do this, he's trying to do that and whatever, would you feel safer realistically if you was in a position where, yeah, you can actually contact people and they will actually turn up? They're not like the police, they're not going to ignore you, they're not going to fob you off or whatever. They're actually going to turn up and assist you and get you out of the danger that you're in. That can only be a good thing. You can only look at anyone that's against that and think, well, what the fuck are you about? Now, it's one of them, innit? Down the road from here or whatever, there may well be alliances put together. It could be people that have already doing great work or whatever. People like Seeks Awareness Society. I think that would be a good ally. Things like CMW, where they can offer, well, it's one of them, you know, teach people the law, so you actually know the law inside out, what you can do, what you can't do, and to actually bring forward, you know, if we had enough people together, we could do X, Y or Z, and that in itself would bring massive awakening to problems and whatever, and we'll put them in a position where actually there's that many of us now, you have to deal with it, because if you don't, it's going to go fucking tits up, innit? It's going to go sideways. Now, I know, like I say, just through wearing a t-shirt and being out and about here, there and everywhere, speaking to people that are curious and whatever, just being open and honest about things, that in itself will bring loads of people in. That will highlight to people what anybody that's wearing that is about or whatever, and it just creates, you know, creates a fucking bit of community spirit. People that are actually now looking out for each other, and that is only going to be a good thing. Now, the more this happens, the more that grows, the more it expands. Do you know what I mean? We'll be in a much better position. We'll actually have managed to build unity, which all these other groups have struggled to do. So, if anything, they've caused more divide than supporting each other or whatever.
Black, but it's all really small.
Now, whether people like it or not, it is happening. It will continue to grow. I believe it will soon outweigh and outnumber all the groups around, because they're not offering a solution. They are not offering any resolve to anything. It just seems to be a case of waking people up, asking people for money, sign this pointless petition, blah, fucking blah. And when you've done all that, for all the years that you've done it, you need something more at the end of that road. You need to see some sort of a community building, some unity around things that matter. And I believe Shield will be the people to deliver that. Now, it's one of them. Anything could start up and then it could end up not doing what it was meant to be, or someone fucks shit up by doing something daft or whatever. And it can have a negative effect, and these things can collapse as quick as they appear or whatever. I think the amount of measures that have been put in place and the way it's being put together, personally, I think it's going to thrive. I think it's going to just continue to grow in mass and support. So yeah, I'm going to stand on my square and push, promote, support fully, more than I've done with any of the other groups. And I've put myself in fucking immediate danger for these other groups or whatever. Sometimes I will be a one-man band, do you know what I mean? I've had some fucking lunatic try and stab me in the face or whatever. Just ended up with a fucking defensive wound in my hand or whatever. If it had gone in my face, do you know what I mean? It's not a good situation, is it, realistically? Now, I'm lucky I can handle myself. I can fucking take whatever fucking gets thrown at me. When you're able to do that and you're willing to do that, and you've got lots of other like-minded people around you that are doing that, and you've got the women that are being trained in self-defence, do you know what I mean? It can only be a good thing. It can never be a negative. So the people that are dishing out the negative fucking bullshit, question them. Look at what they're about. Look at all the fucking occasions that these people, either directly or indirectly, the friends around them and whatever, I've had all the fucking they're literally running about reporting each other to the police, to Hope Not Hate, to Prevent. These people have even attacked Danny Roscoe. They made out he's a domestic terrorist, for fuck's sake. When you end up with Prevent at your gaff and they're wanting to question your fucking children over certain aspects and whatever, all them kids have to do is say the wrong thing and that's it. Social services will fucking intercept, your kids will be taken off you, and then what? Do you know what I mean? Because you pissed some old bag off on YouTube. If people can't see the problems around this, then you're not going to be the target audience that Shield are looking for, realistically. Now, just in my personal life or whatever, the amount of people that have already got interested and signing up and whatever to Shield is amazing, absolutely amazing. And like anything, do you know what I mean? Once a person is a part of a group and whatever, they'll be speaking to people that they know that maybe I don't know, whatever, and each person will tell somebody else and so on, and to the point where there's more people of Shield that are literally, around you on your daily life and whatever, or not so far away to respond to issues and whatever. We will all be in a much safer predicament. We'll be, a more stable country and whatever, and the predators and whatever will be fully aware. Things have changed. What we once knew has changed. There will be fucking consequences to the actions, and at that point you'll see these things lessen and lessen and lessen, to the point where, I don't know, maybe they'll fuck off elsewhere and go and try the luck elsewhere. At this moment in time, we are an easy touch, whether it be on the street with all these politically correct fucking wankers, or the police, the court system, whatever. We're a soft touch on every fucking level, on a multitude of fucking level, all the way to prison, and we're a soft touch again. So until you make the situation to the point where they don't feel so emboldened to be able to do these things, they're actually now afraid of consequences, then yeah, they're going to continue doing what they're doing. So I think that's about it, realistically. I'm going to be putting some videos out showing all the Hope Not Hate shit, the way that people have literally covered for Hope Not Hate, people like Jupiter, people like Wendy working alongside Hope Not Hate agents, all the shit they're saying now, well, that doesn't coincide with what he said at the time, does it? So there's lots of lies being told. It's one of them, innit? When people lie, dig deeper there. Dig much deeper there, because somewhere under that lie that they put down is the truth. And the truth is usually worth a lot more than the fucking lies, deception and bullshit. Real people recognise real people. Wonky cunts seem to flock together. Do you know what I mean? For anyone that thinks Jupiter's a decent person and she's on the right side of history and whatever, why are all the mates hope not hate? Why are all the mates the people that are literally making fucking mass reports to the police and even counter-terrorism? You heard her when I fucking had an issue with Sean because he made out that it was a woman beater based on a video that wasn't me. Didn't look like me, didn't sound like me. And Sean was trying to make out I was his flatmate and I beat some woman up in his house, and I can't think of that app, was it Snapchat or something like that, that had added a fucking child or whatever. The guy that he knew had added a child. He's the person that lived with him, so realistically all I have to do is look at the actual situation. Sean had a guy living with him that had been adding children on Snapchat. Not me. Now, obviously I was quite pissed off with that. I said to him, go and look on my channel, my face is on my channel. Go and look, you'll see what I look like, you'll see clearly that I'm not the person who you think I am or whatever. All I want is a retraction of what you just said, because it's quite damaging. And I want an apology, that's it. He thought I was some sort of dickhead. I said to him, look, don't make me come find you. Just do your homework, have a look now. You know, it's been an hour since you've said it. You could have gone on my channel and looked for yourself. You could have realised that it wasn't that person. I just want an apology. And he was trying to give it the big one, this, that and the other. Now, his arse fell out when I rang him from the end of his street and said to him, look, you know, I have got your address now. I am at the end of your road. Would you like to give me that apology now? And Sean was live with the other empty ball bags, Esau, Bleeding Heart, Trolls of the Left, Trolls of Antifa, supporter, Bleeding Heart being a supporter of the IRA. So he just wanted to give it the big one. He must have thought actually was just talking shit or something. Now, when he realised that actually I wasn't talking shit, I was definitely outside, and I was going to require what I asked for, an apology. His arse fell out. He started crying, ringing the police. Jupiter saying, "Oh, contact counter-terrorism." Do you know what I mean? I've turned up at a man's house to ask for an apology because he said some wild shit which wasn't me. So I'm obviously going to want an apology. I didn't turn up with a bomb strapped to my chest. Do you know what I mean? But no, Jupiter wants everyone who's listening, contact the police. It's like, what? Make sure you tell him, inform counter-terrorism, blah blah blah. Coming out with all sorts of mad shit. Oh, he said he's going to blow up mosques. I've never said I was going to blow up a mosque. Never once. They just lie, they just chat shit. They use hope not hate inspired videos, cut and shuts, to try and emphasise their worthless opinion, their worthless points. Now, there's only so much of that you can look at and think, well, these people are not decent people. They're literally attacking the actual patriots. You know, they're actually making fucking false reports, trying to fucking involve all sorts of agencies to the point where you could end up with your kids took off you or whatever. As Danny Roscoe knows full well. Do you know what I mean? That could have turned into a really bad situation. Now, how much really do you give that credence? How long do you allow that to continue? For me, it's very easy. It has to be cut out. It has to be cut out like cancer. and to not do so and ignore that, you're part of the problem. It is that simple. You have, whether you like it or you're not, or you don't rather, you are part of the problem. If you allow that to carry on, it's only a matter of time before it's yourself. You know, it might not be you today, it might be funny. You think, oh, this is funny, this. Will it be funny when it's a knock at your door? Will it be funny when they're questioning your children? I don't think it will be. Now, for me personally, bad shit don't have to happen to me. It could happen to somebody I don't even like Danny Tomo. Not a big fan of him. Never really liked him. It's just, you know, ego, and he's literally made it clear that he needs to make a living out of this or whatever. Blah, blah, blah. So, for me, there's a whole host of reasons, but when you then lie and make out what he did, which was in bad taste, having sex with survivors of grooming, very bad taste, something I think Tommy should have booted him out for, but the wrong'uns are never removed. This is the problem. But to make him into a paedophile when he's not a paedophile, nah, that's like took it to another level now, isn't it? And even though I don't like that person, not somebody that I would support either way, it's one of them, innit? You've got to realise that the person that's being accused today could be you tomorrow. So at that point, if you can prove that that person is not what they've made him out to be, and actually you can prove their lies and pull out all the fucking evidence from these shit cunts and whatever and expose them, then you do so. You do so in the hope that if it was ever you on the receiving end or whatever, that you would have decent people around that would do the same for you. Now, I'm not saying that would be the case. I'm not saying anyone would do anything which doesn't affect them or whatever. Seems to be a lot of selfish people around which are only asked about their own little bubble. But, do you know what I mean? That doesn't stop me being a decent person. So, yeah. I think that's about it. There's not really much else I can add to it. Those that will get what I'm saying will get what I'm saying. Those that wish to find fault in everything and whatever, and you know, obviously they don't do anything bad, they don't do anything wrong. You know, despite all the fucking train wrecks behind them and the people fucking laying in gutters that they've stabbed in the back, they'll just continue on with that line of bullshit or whatever. People have to wake up in their own time. Me personally, I've had enough of it all. I'm moving forward to preventive measures, to put things in place, to build bridges, things that can coincide with each other. It is that simple. So let the wrong'uns keep saying what they're doing and saying. It's not going to make or break my day. You've had all these mentally ill cunts going, oh, we're going to contact fucking Shield and tell them what you're about, blah blah blah. People already know what I'm about. I knew Jupiter won't get it when I said fucking certified or whatever. She hasn't got a clue in the real world or whatever. She's not got a clue. So yeah, they can make all the silly little reports that they want. It ain't going to make any bit of difference or whatever. I've literally proved my point. I've proved my point for a long time, and I'm very well connected on a multitude of fucking levels. I've proven my worth along the way or whatever, and it's very easy to fucking show that to be the case or whatever. All the decent people that have come away from things and whatever, we speak on a regular basis. Do you know what I mean? Just because people come away from things, they don't just all of a sudden stop giving a shit and stop, you know, wanting to somehow deal with it and whatever. People sometimes have just had enough. They've seen enough. They pointed things out and nothing's been done about it. People get pissed off and think, yeah, I'm coming away from it. Most people move out of a movement silently. They say nothing. They bring nothing to attention in the name of we don't want infighting. That only takes you so far. You have to call these things out for what they are to make it clear to everybody the situation at hand, what these people are about. You know, when you've got people like Wendy, when you've got people like Jupiter, Babs, Moon, that are just literally forever giving the perceived enemy the free ammunition on a daily basis. Do you know what I mean? Jupiter might sit there and do 3 lives a day and she'll absolutely give ammunition left, right and centre. She'll have these other fucking mentally ill cunts around it also giving free ammunition. So it's easy then for people to stand back and go, oh look, this is what they're all about. Jupiter claims she's the big I am. She's able to issue threats to actual patriots and whatever. Like they might be in danger or, you know, oh, we're going to dox your missus, blah, blah, blah. And all that was based on a lie, all that was based on bullshit. She made out it was Crystal that withdrawn her evidence and that's why the case collapsed of the CSA and all that. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Your mate Moon has admitted, yeah, I retracted my fucking statement. I retracted the evidence. And on top of that, Jupiter, you deleted the fucking evidence. You deleted the group. You didn't want. You've admitted your own words. You've admitted you didn't want to give over your devices. You wanted to keep pumping out your pointless fucking lives. So the culprit, whoever did drop the CSA, managed to get away and can do it again. You know why she did Discord too? You'd have to ask her, wouldn't you? If the first Discord was an epic fuck up to the point where you've literally pointed your fucking finger covered in shit at 20-30 people making out their paedophiles because you deleted the fucking evidence and you brought no one to account, why in the world would you do it again and then drag Luke into it? Oh well, you know, we thought we'd try and deal with it online. It's like, no, deal with the police. Don't give a fuck if whoever doesn't like the police or not. A lot of people don't like the police. If something fucked up has gone on with a child at this moment in time without people like Shield around, then you have to ring the police. You have to see if they can deal with it. They're more likely to be able to find the culprit. Everyone's got a digital footprint, a fingerprint, whatever you want to call it. That would have been obviously the most logical thing to do. Now, what you wouldn't do is bring it to YouTube and start enrolling people that you've already had arguments with. You've already called them paedophiles and all sorts of fucked up shit. You've even dug into the family members. And then because that didn't work, we'll drag it into the black community. How did that end? They laughed at you. They could tell you was full of shit. And they fobbed you off. And before they fobbed you off, they took the black community card off yourself and your wonky fucking half-man Hector, which sits there praying for abuse to happen to the children of the people that you don't agree with on fucking YouTube. When you stand back and you look at all these things that have gone on, when Jupiter's there because she don't like somebody or whatever, she'll start singing a song to a woman that's had a child murdered. You know, start singing a song about dig up your kids, go and dig up your kids, dig up your kids. This is a fucking, do you know what I mean? She's nearly 60 years old. If that was your mum or your grandmother or whatever, would you not be absolutely ashamed and have nothing to do with that wonky cunt ever again? I think that's probably why you never hear anyone in the background for the fucking countless hours that she's on lives. People, her own family, have distanced themselves from her and Hector. That is obviously fucking crystal clear for everyone to see. Now, her keep chucking her own address about like she's some gangster granny or something. Do you know what I mean? She actually has got kids that live there. I think she's got 2 kids that are not grown up that live there or whatever that she had with Hector. That's neglect. You're inviting trouble to your house from people that are fucking Islamic extremists and all sorts of shit. The far right, the actual far right, because she was part of that to begin with before they booted her out. You're inviting all them problems to your house and you've got kids. Now, according to Jupiter, she's had many nights where she has to stay downstairs and watch the front door because she's so paranoid it'll come through. So realistically, you know then, by acknowledging that you've actually put your own children in danger. But then you'll try and mock me for, you had to move or whatever. No, I didn't have to move. There was no threat. There was a possibility of a fucking threat. It could be a year down the line. It could be 5 years down the line. I'm not going to take no chances. I put my hand in my pocket and I fucking deal with it. It is that simple. So, yeah, that's all I would say. Question things. Question everything. And if you're not happy with the answers, just come away from it. You don't have to speak out. You don't have to fucking point whatever out, whatever. Just come away from it. It is that simple. Now, when you've got something like Shield that are fully aware of all these things that have gone on, all the past problems, all the past mistakes of certain groups doing this, that and the other, being cast into things that they're not and whatever, preventive measures have been put in place to deal with all these things before they turn into a problem. And that, again, would only be a good thing, would only be a positive thing. Now, like I say, many people have already joined and many more people will follow. Like I say, if people want to support one thing and support another, do what you're doing. Do what you're doing. If you can multitask and fucking, some people have more time than others or whatever, more free time, do what you're doing. No one's going to complain because you're supporting 2 things that are a good thing or whatever. People are generally only going to complain when you're supporting shit cunts like Hope Not Hate agents, supergrasses to the police, supergrasses to the fucking Prevent and whatever, on people that are apparently on your side. People need to be able to see these things for what they actually are rather than what they are not. It is that simple. Right, I'm going to leave it there. Hope everyone's good. Stay safe and I'll catch you on the next one.